All right, everybody. This is Flick112000 Returns here, and welcome to every episode of Dragon Tales Season 1B review. Where we last left off, we did Dragon Tales Season 1A, meaning the Season 1 episodes from 1999. But now, we're going to do Dragon Tales Season 1B review, meaning the 2000 episodes of Dragon Tales from Season 1. And I will send Movie and Game Lover 98 the link to the stream in case. And here you go. Okay, we are just waiting for Movie and Game Lover 98 to join us. And all right. And yeah. All right. And I will send you the link. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Here you go, Moving Game Over 98. Here's the link to the stream. All right. There's a stream going on. Please close the door. Anyway. Sorry about this, folks. All right, here we go. Here
Hey,
we go.
it's me. Look who came in. Do you like my hat?
All right. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Do you like my hat I'm wearing?
So anyway, now, the last time we took a look at Season 1A, the 1999 era of Season 1.
Yeah.
Now we go into a new millennium with the 2000 era of Season 1.
2000, the new millennium. Yeah,
so
before we get into
here we go. The first episode of 2000, episode 21A, Do Not Pass Gnome. Emmy and Max play an elfin version of Simon Says.
Yeah.
The beginning of this episode was all right, but the rest of the episode got better as time went on. The beginning of the episode was kind of meh, mostly because Emmy has warned Max not to touch her yo-yo, otherwise she'd break it. But Max breaks the rules, and he winds up snapping Emmy's yo-yo in half. And Emmy,
oh no!
Emmy gets angry with Max for not listening to her directions of not playing with the yo-yo.
Stupid Max, he didn't listen. That's like how I didn't listen to this person, but I did that thing anyway, and I still got in trouble.
And then, yeah. And then Zach and then Wheezy tries to fix Emmy's yo-yo by blowing bubble gum on it. And then Ord tries using more string to fix Emmy's yo-yo, but neither of them work.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Simon appears, and he comes to play the Simon Says game with everyone in Dragonland.
Yeah.
This is what I call a good episode.
Well, I found it okay because I don't like how the crowd gasps, "Aw!" Kind of like how the crowd goes, "Aw!" in Super Smash Bros. Melee. But yeah, speaking of the video games,
you want me to? I just wanted to tell you something. When I looked at the tape of School is Cool, it actually had the wrong tape inside. It actually had the Let's Be Friends tape inside with that awful no-hitter episode as the second episode on there.
oh no! That's not good. That's you know how I tried to get that Best of Thomas VHS from Goodwill, but it had an Airbud tape in there. But luckily I decided not to get it because it had the wrong tape inside.
I was expecting the tape to be School is Cool, but the Let's Be Friends tape from 2001 somehow got into the School is Cool case.
Oh no. That's when you showed me your birthday presents from back in July.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of video games, you want me to show you this?
Yeah.
Do you like this system I have? It's a new 2DS XL.
But at least the Keep On Trying case has the correct Keep On Trying tape inside, along with You Can Do It having the correct tape in there inside, and Follow the Clues also has the correct tape. Now there's only one more Dragon Tales VHS to unseal.
Yeah. So yeah, let's get back to
next up. We go into episode 21B,
which is Treasure
Hunt. And
just simply treasure.
Is when Ketzel gives instructions on how to enter a magic door.
Yeah. And yeah, basically how the Woody door goes, "Oh dear, oh my, I'm locked up tight, aren't I?" Oh,
I think one of my favorite parts. One of my favorite parts is Zach's line when he gets frightened. I'll tell you how. We can't. We're locked in.
Yeah, that's funny. And of course, like, yes, they have to find the right things to open the door, to open up Woody. All right, now we go into episode 22 of season 1. 22A is the Jumping Bean Express.
Anyway, episode 22A, the Jumping Bean Express.
I just said that title.
Asked the game to take some jumping beans back to his brother.
That'd be Fernando. Well, of course, like they say, they will never give up. We dragons never give up. And then Max says,
this is what I call a very good episode. Just like it's Dragon Drop, this is another good episode.
I find it funny, in my opinion. I find it funny, too.
They try to get the... And I found out that at the very end, the jumping beans wouldn't run away from all the Dragonberry cupcakes they eat.
And of course, yes, you mentioned how it kind of reminds me of a Sesame Street one when Wheezy says, "Cupcakes?
Now they tell us!
Now you tell us!" And the funniest one, like when Max and Emmy go back home, it's like Max pretends to be a jumping bean. He shoots a basket by being a jumping bean. Okay, now into 22B, which is Get Off of My Cloud.
All right, Get Off of My Cloud. a super growing sunflower takes Max to the clouds.
But he uses too much Wonder Water.
At first, they are making some plant seeds for carrots.
Yeah.
In the episode.
And then Max messes everything up, and Emmy gets pissed at him, of course.
He's
Sorry.
like, why don't you stop helping and just watch for a while?
And then Max gets pissed again and said, fine. And then Cassie wonders, what's wrong? What's wrong, Max? Why are you sitting here all by yourself?
I think one of my favorite lines is when the Sid says, so what this here means is we're doomed! We'll be stuck here forever! Oh, I can't take it!
Oh my god, poor guy. And of course, yeah, we have to get Max back down to the ground. And now, on to episode 23A,
anyway,
backwards to forwards.
I give Get Off My Cloud a pretty... It's close to being good, but it's gonna fall into the upper meh category because there are a lot of interesting parts in it. But the part with Emmy getting angry by Max just drags it down a bit.
Well, just a little bit.
Anyway, next up, episode
yes,
23A, backwards to forwards.
Yes, I did say that.
Make everything in Dragonland go backward.
Yes, kind of reminds me of the Family Guy. Well, they say the title of the episode, they say the show's name backwards. That's why it says they make the time travel go backwards. Even like, Les, I know you don't watch Family Guy. No, because of the immature sentences and dialogue. Well, of course, it kind of reminds me, yes, of... I don't know. It reminds me of iCarly, April Fools from season 6.
Didn't you say it reminded you of the Family Guy episode where everything went backwards through time?
Yes, and it even goes backwards like before the events.
That kind of reminds me of the SpongeBob episode where they get stuck in the freezer for the 77th anniversary, Truth or Square.
Yes, Truth or Square, and the Family Guy. I can't even say the show's name backwards.
And then
I know it's from a season. But yeah, they go backwards and they figure out a way to get this back to go forwards again. And
I call backwards to forwards a very funny episode. It's a good episode.
Good and funny at the same time, because you know how, yes, that they keep turning the wrong signs, thinking that was the right sign to go. They're not walking backwards anymore, and they have to travel backwards through the sky.
Anyway, next up, episode 23B, Sounds Like Trouble. Ord must face his fears and retrieve his goo ball from a dark cave.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was just showing my new 2DS XL.
Anyway, this is basically when they all try to face their fears, but Ord especially out of all of them.
Yeah.
Because Max really wants to get the goo ball back. But Ord doesn't want to go in there because it's a scary cave. And every time he hears loud noises, Ord freaks out about it.
Well, it kind of reminds me of, yes, Toby and the Whistling Woods of Thomas from season 14, where Toby thinks these strange things are scaring him, but really just these noises from these places in the Whistling Woods, and Toby and the Whistling Woods.
Doesn't it kind of remind you of Haunted Henry in a way as well?
Yeah, both Haunted Henry from season 5 of the classic series and season 14's Toby and the Whistling Woods from the Sharon Miller era.
Oh, there's another episode where Toby gets scared of something and thinks he hears noises, and it's a season 5 episode called Toby's Discovery.
Well, yeah, it came 3 episodes after Haunted Henry, Toby's Discovery.
Anyway, I call Sounds Like Trouble a very good episode.
That's good.
They try to face their fear. They try to face their fears alone, but Ord especially. There are a few times where Zach freaks out. There are a few times when Zach freaks out when he says, "It's really dark in here." But mostly it's Ord facing his fear of the goo ball. even though they all face their
Yeah.
fears, Ord faces his the most.
Yeah.
Next up, episode
Yep.
24A, the greatest show in Dragonland.
Yeah, where
Zach
Zach
and
and
Wheezy are
get grounded.
unable to fly.
And they get grounded, yes, due to Wheezy has a cast on.
Well, technically they get grounded, meaning they can't fly, but it's not a punishment grounded. It's more like they can't fly.
Well, yeah, it's not like getting grounded by their parents, basically. Yeah, I forgot to tell you. Do you like my...
Anyway, Zach and Wheezy decide that they better go to Wonderworld without them. But then Emmy thinks that it's not cool to leave Zach and Wheezy behind.
They should go. They should think of a way to go with them together. They don't like when they ride Beefy across the ocean to get to the other side. Ord's face is funny. Like when they
go into a log, and then they take a log ride, and then they go to Snowy Summit to ski down the mountain.
And they slide on their bellies, kind of like penguins slide on their bellies on ice in Antarctica.
And anyway, I call The Greatest Show in Dragonland a good episode.
I find it good too. Yeah, and now 24B, which is prepare according to instructions.
Prepared according to instructions. The children
Yes, I just said it.
To be prepared. By children, it's Emmy and Max.
Yeah, because oh yeah, I like the funny portions when they're putting on their rain boots before they go to Dragonland. I find Emmy to be the coolest when she puts her rain boots on because she's wearing a red shirt and a blue dress. Kind of, I guess it's like a skirt dress in my opinion. Well, yeah, and they of course go to Dragonland and they find a way to see dancing crystals and crystal.
Yeah, and then near the end of the episode, they all go to a cave and Ord is afraid to go there again.
That cave again? Well, of course they use a light to keep Ord from feeling scared in there.
Yeah. And then they eventually get the dancing crystals near the end of the episode.
Yeah. And of course they think, oh, there's rain puddles, and when Max and Emmy go back home and they go out to play in the rain.
All right.
Of course.
Next
up, now, we go into
25A, Wheezy's Last Laugh.
Not my
Elfin
favorite.
Prankster is going around Dragonland stealing voices.
That it does kind of remind me a little bit of Family Guy Lois Kills Stewie Part 2, where yes, Peter and Lois switch voices. Like Lois has Peter's voice and Peter has Lois's voice. Well,
that episode reminds me of a Flintstones episode from season 5 called Monster Fred, where there's a mad doctor that switches the Flintstones and Rebels voices. At one point, Wilma has Fred's voice, Fred has Wilma's, Barney has Betty's, and Betty has Barney's. And there's one point where Dino has Fred's voice.
Oh, bother. Of course, yes. I don't know why.
And this also kind of reminds me of the SpongeBob season 4 episode Funny Pants, where Squidward says that if he burned out his laugh box, he'll live his whole life without laughing again.
Yeah, and of course, like the funniest, like when Squidward has SpongeBob's laugh at the end of Funny Pants.
And then you find SpongeBob crying near the end of the episode kind of annoying.
God, yes. Because that episode aired sometime in 2005. I was a little kid and I noticed that. It bothered me a lot. Well, yeah, I know that. But of course, now, and of course they have to find a way to get Wheezy's laugh back, and she tries not to.
And then basically, Wheezy is horrified and sad that her laugh has been stolen by Mr. Pop.
Yeah, he's not as menacing as Swiper the Fox from Dora the Explorer, that's for sure. But I know he still steals kind of like Swiper the Fox because I don't watch Dora the Explorer anymore.
And also, at the end of the episode, Zach actually punishes Mr. Pop by having his laugh taken away.
But only if Cassie was added, I would just give it a 10 out of 10. But other than that, just half of a 10 for me.
This is a pretty interesting, funny episode.
Well, it's not funny without Cassie. I can't stand Cassie not being in there. It reminds
but
me.
due to Cassie not being in the plot, it drags it down into the meh category.
But for my category, I say fine. All right, I say okay, I guess. The okay category.
Yeah, meh is another word for okay.
Well, yes, that's true. Well, of course, yeah, let's get to the B portion, which is Frog Prince.
Episode 25B, Frog Prince.
Yes.
Max wants to keep a Unicroaker frog as a pet. And, of course, Ketzel tells him not to do so. Even though Max is sad about it.
Oh, did you know? Do you like Max and Ruby or no?
Repeat the
Do you like the Nick Jr. show, Max and Ruby from 2002? Again? Do you like Max and Ruby or no?
No.
Do you know, even though I like Max and Ruby, but you're not a big fan of it, reminds me.
I'm not a big fan of most Nickelodeon shows. The only one I do like is SpongeBob.
Well, if you had to pick a favorite Teen Nick show, which one would you have to pick from these ones? Drake and Josh, iCarly, Nested Classified School Survival Guide, or... If you had to pick between the three, but if you don't like it, if you're not a big fan of them, that's fine. I watch Frog.
Nickelodeon is one of my least favorite networks.
Like Teen Nick in general, just not like actual teen.
I'm saying Nickelodeon in general, like Teen Nick, Nick Jr. That Nickelodeon is just a decent block in general. The only Nickelodeon show that I actually like is SpongeBob.
Well, okay. I'll tell you, Frog Prince kind of reminds me of how in this episode of Max and Ruby, I like Max's froggy friend. He takes the frog home, and then Ruby sacrifices him. That frog cannot come stay at their house. He needs to be home at the creek. And then Max from Max and Ruby is sad. Kind of like Max in the Dragon Tales version of Frog Prince. He's upset. But the ending was funny in Frog Prince.
Yeah. And I especially like how that frog makes a deep voice and goes, "Lurks." That's funny.
Yeah, it is. Okay, now let's get.
I call Frog Prince a good episode.
Yeah, where Emmy tries to keep telling Max you cannot take that frog home, and Ketzel.
Next up, episode 26A, Crash Landings. Zach refuses to race after being hurt in practice.
Oh God, poor dude.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm really glad that Zach didn't burst into tears in that episode, because if he did, then that wouldn't be good at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he gets covered in mud at one point in the episode.
Yeah. Well, did he get injured in that episode or no?
I think he might get angry, in that episode, but I haven't seen that episode a lot. But
I wish that episode was on DVD.
What do you think? Do you call it a good episode or just meh? Or do you find that episode bad?
Good, actually. I found it funny because they try to do it slowly, but then they realize they want to really run this race. Because they're on the and then of course episode 26B, which is the big cake mix-up. And
in that episode, everyone accidentally brings eggs to make a dragonberry cake.
That's funny. But then they realize
this episode is a good episode through and through. I really like how they make the cake. Like how they make the ingredients to make the cake. They try to make it through first place. And then there's this one part where Ord eats the dragonberries, which causes Zach to get furious with him because he was preparing to use the dragonberries to make the cake,
Oh my god.
but because Ord ate it, there wouldn't be enough time to get more of them.
So they had to use popcorn instead. Well, you know how they sing, like, you listen to the song,
of course, basically, the judge chooses which cake is the best, and it turns out they win second prize. This causes all the kids and dragons to become really disappointed and sad because they were looking forward to winning first place, but they didn't.
Oh, no. Well, of course they had a fun time making the cake. Like, yes, it kind of reminds me of Cars when Lightning McQueen says he had more life than just racing, than just winning the race. He just had a fun time racing anyway.
And then,
that's another thing. Yeah. Of course, like, you know something else funny I noticed? You've listened to the song I've Been Working on the Railroad, but they do this one, Someone's in the Kitchen with Dinah. They sing the parody of this part if I've Been Working on the Railroad, but the portion from this portion of the song, Someone's in the
Kitchen with Ord?
Yeah, I think it's Someone's in the Kitchen with Ord.
Yeah.
Yeah, the parody, just from the portion of the parody of the song I've Been Working on the Railroad, but from the portion of the song Someone's in the Kitchen with Dinah, but replace it with Ord. Huh, I never come up with I've Been Working on the Railroad, despite it's a really classic song.
All right, next up, episode 27A, Ketzel's Magic Pop-Up Book. Ketzel's Magic Book
magical.
comes flooded with too many pictures. This episode is very, very interesting.
I find it funny where they keep making up random stuff and they just try to make up a good story. And of course,
this one part where Max gets angry when his story cuts off early, and it's like, hey, you didn't even finish my story.
No, it goes, hey, my story's ruined. It's not your story, Max, as Cassie said to him. Cassie said to him, it's not your story, Max. It's everyone's. And yes, Mungus speaks like himself, but this is his second episode he appears in, but he speaks like himself for the first time. He goes, B505. I smell the feet of a puny dragon.
And of course, from this point forward, Mungus's voice is a little bit deeper.
Yes. And of course, everyone screams towards the end of the episode, and then Ketzel says, whoa, Ninos, one at a time. And of course, they use the ending rhyme to go back home. Oh, you know the funniest portion when Emmy imagines, what does she say? I'm a Wild West rodeo girl. And then Max comes with a funny...
Max is like, I imagine I'm a duck driving a car with a fire engine chasing me to the bathroom and getting flushed down the toilet.
And then Emmy just does this. And then Max just laughs, and then the episode ends. And of course, the B portion of episode 27, My Way or Snow Way.
Which is a pun on My Way or No Way.
Yeah. Well, and it's just a snow.
In that episode,
snowy.
Wheezy helps a snowman desperately looking for his lost snow puppy named Nippy.
Yeah, the snowman's name is Chili. That's his first appearance. And of course,
one of my favorite parts is when Max says, I hope you brought another sandwich, Ord. And then Ord says, oops, that was my last one.
Yeah. Here, sorry, I'm using this light on my tripod to see if I can see my face better.
I can see.
Yeah, let me just turn it down just a bit. Here, I think you can see my face a lot better because my phone likes to go on and off with the glare. So this should be a lot easier. But yeah, My Way or Snow Way. I love that episode. Like they do another version of Pop Goes the Weasel. When they
Wheezy.
Yes. Well, that's the second time they do it. That's in two portions of where they do Pop Goes the Wheezy.
And I forgot to mention in Do Not Pass Gnome, they sing. The funny part goes when Wheezy sings London Bridges Falling Down, My Fair, and then Zach says, Wheezy!
Yeah. London Bridges Falling Down. I love that song. It's one of my favorites from my childhood. Well, always, yeah. And this is the two episodes where they both do the Pop Goes the Wheezy version. But yeah, now on to episode 28A, which is Sandcastle Hassle. We're gonna get to the other.
The gang needs to help turtle dragons. And by the way, My Way or Snow Way is a good episode.
Very good in a way. And Zach's funny.
Anyway, episode 28A, Sandcastle Hassle.
I just said that.
To help turtle dragons that are being washed out to sea.
Yeah, and another one is like when Zach and Wheezy exclaim, "They'll never come back!" And Wheezy says, "We blew it." That wasn't a big cry for any of those two. They just sniffled. But of course, the giant, they get knocked down again, and then Cassie goes, "Oh no!"
And of course, that's the same giant that first appeared in Staying Within the Lines.
It's his only episode in 2000, this episode, but Staying Within the Lines was his only episode of 1999.
His last appearance in a Dragon Tales episode in general, too.
Well, if they could bring him back in season 2, that'd be kind of cool. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case because we already have Mungus the Giant anyway. Wait,
well,
do they just...
They brought Mungus back in future seasons.
And the Giant of Nod.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, but now onto the B portion of 28 of season 1, which is True Blue Friend. That's the one I was trying to say.
Max, Emmy, and the dragon's finger paint with permanent paint.
That's the funniest one.
Oh my gosh. When you're covered in the permanent paint, that is really, really funny.
Yeah, of course, like you know when...
one of my favorite parts is when
Wait,
Zach
before you
says,
say... Hold on.
You didn't take the paint off the bottom shelf, did you? Because if we did, we'd be in big trouble. It's permanent and it will never, ever come off. And then Ord dramatically says, I think I took the paint off the bottom shelf.
Oh my god. Yes, at least he didn't cry that so hard, but he just wailed it with worried expression. And of course, like, they can't do these things. They always get these two things wrong. They get the wrong leaves, and they use the wrong berries to get the juice all over them. But of course they have to use the right ones, which are berry. And of course,
the tiger trees drying with leaves, and then
basically
angels and snow making the colors go, and the original colors from the series come back.
Yeah, and of course the ending was funny, like when Emmy says, "Oh no, that Dragonland paint will never come off."
And then Max says, "Fooled ya!" And then they both laugh.
And then the episode ends. Okay, now on to episode...
Friend is a good episode.
Very good, if I might add. Now on to episode 29A.
Episode 29A, Zach Takes a Dive. Zach and Wheezy learn how to swim at Dragon Legume. And of course, this marks the first appearance of Shelly, the turtle.
I think that's her only appearance, isn't it?
Yeah, her only appearance.
And like if Zach and Wheezy teach her how to fly, she can teach them how to swim, and they can swim. I find that plot interesting because I was
one of the earliest Dragon Tales episodes to be released onto DVD.
Yes, under the VHS, you can do it, but on the Adventures in Dragonland DVD.
Yeah, and I think that's why I got the VHS of You Can Do It, so that at least you can get 2 new episodes never seen, and I did not get the Big Brave Adventures one because all 3 episodes have already been on DVD on Adventures in Dragonland and Let's Be Brave, respectively.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, I think it's other cool and how... Oh yeah, on to the next episode.
I call Zach Takes a Dive a very good episode.
Yeah. And now on to 29B, which is Under the Weather.
The weather goes haywire when Polynimbus the Cloudmaker falls ill with a bad cold.
Yeah, basically when the gang sees her, says, "But don't come near me. I have a stuffy nose and a scratchy throat."
And then, of course...
And then Max, I think you're making it worse.
When the clouds start coming in, at first it has rain falling down, and then it starts snowing, and then the hailstones fall out of Dragonland, and then the weather goes haywire, and they have to go get Ketzel in a way to make the clouds behave again.
Yeah. And, also like when Cassie says, I've never seen anything like this before. Rain and snow and hail, all at the same time.
And then Jack says, well, don't look now, but more clouds are coming.
Oh, boy. Oh, well, okay. Well, before we get to it, Under the Weather, good episode. But, oh, boy, we're getting into episode 30A of season 1, which has my least favorite episode, besides Bully for You and No Hitter. Well, and what will we get to it, maybe? Besides No Hitter. Guess the name, My Emmy or Bust.
Yeah. Max, Misses Emmy, when he goes to Dragonland without her. You know what? Dragon trash episode. For sure.
Kind of, yes. Well, at least Max doesn't hit anyone in that episode, or he doesn't lose his temper, but the one bad thing, yes, it reminds me of Lost Treasure of Thomas. Thomas not warning Ryan about the bad coal, but he did it anyway.
And then with Sir Topham Hatt getting very angry with Thomas in the middle.
Like towards the end of the film. Yes, he yells out his full name due to Keith Wickham. And of course, like, if we could have improved the episode, but make Emmy warn him. Where basically I did it already. Mind if I do it, or did I do it, or you don't mind? Mind if I do it again?
Ord impression?
No, the Emmy impressions, but make sure Emmy warns Max about the dragon scale.
All right. Why don't I be Max this time? Emmy, is it okay if I go to Dragonland?
Or no. What if? Wait. Do the one I did before. Like I'm Max. When I did the Max impression, saying, "Oh, that's cool, Emmy, but what are we gonna do if the dragons call us?" Say that.
It's all right. It's all right, Max. You can go ahead to Dragonland.
Oh, thank you, Emmy. Thanks for warning me about the Dragonland thing.
Yeah.
And then Emmy says, "You're welcome."
Anyway, My Emmy or Bust is a
kind of light of a Dragon Trash episode.
A light Dragon Trash episode.
Not very Dragon Trash, but a very light one. And I noticed the other problem, yes, Cassie was not in the episode. That was weird. Well, I mean, I guess they would have, if they did this like in Snow Dragons, Zack and Wheezy were in it because Cassie was sick in Snow Dragons. But for some reason, Sony didn't do that. Or whoever owns Dragon Tales. I think it's just Sony, but whatever.
All right, next up, a much better episode.
Ooh.
Light My Fire Breath. Wheezy loses her fire breath after drinking Plump Gump's nectar.
Yeah, they should never do that because it's poison. It could put out a dragon's fire breath. Kind of like how Thomas backed into Toby at the water tower in The Lost Puff when that was the stupidest thing to do after taking that thing from Paxton. Run backwards very fast on the bumpy track.
That kind of reminds me of the scene in the Flintstones episode where Fred Flintstone drinks car polish and is poisoned by the effects of it.
What does that happen to him in that episode?
Well, Fred then gets hit in the head with a bottle which knocks him unconscious after he drinks the car polish in the season 1 Flintstones episode, The Split Personality.
Oh, God. Like, does he lose something in person, or he just gets poisoned?
Well...
And remember he did the impression of Wheezy...
strangely as Frederick.
And also, you know how you did the impression of Wheezy freaking out, saying, when am I going to breathe fire again? Mind if I do it? Oh, like she goes, when am I going to breathe fire again? No! I think that was terrible at Wheezy's freaking out.
You didn't take a sip from a plump cup flower, did you?
Oh, yeah, I remember that too. Yeah. Light My Fire Breath is...
I find Light My Fire Breath a much better episode than Miami or Bust. A good episode.
Yeah. Paired with a light Dragon Trash episode, in my opinion. But anyways, yeah. Now let's get on to someone I find fun, let's get to episode 31A of season 1, Follow the Leader.
Emmy feels just like her little brother when a troll child's game is too hard for her.
Yeah, just like I noticed, like when he picks up Emmy, but she is not a doll. Just like how in the one learning segment of Thomas and Calling Legends where you have to help Thomas play Trick on Diesel, Michael Brand says, "Can you build with bananas?" And he says, "No."
And then, of course, there's this one part where Max gets angry and doesn't want to play Follow the Leader anymore. And then Emmy snaps back at Max and says, "Fine, don't."
Yeah, they get pissed. Seriously. Sorry. Whatever. But anyway, yeah, they just snap back at each other. Oh yeah. And of course, they get out of there just in time. And of course, when they get back home,
Emmy gets at the very end of the episode.
Well, then Max tells Emmy personal jinx. And then, of course, he says, "No talking till someone says your name, Emmy."
And then Emmy realizes that she's not Jinx anymore.
And she says, "Thanks, Max." And then, of course,
next up, one of the least favorite episodes of season 1 that is not Crash, but it is Max and the Magic Carpet. Ord plans a big surprise, but Max is too busy playing with the Magic Carpet, which makes Ord feel legitimately depressed.
Why do you think it's your least favorite, despite it's not a Dragon Trash episode?
Well, I'd say it falls into the meh category. It's really cool with Max going into the Magic Carpet, but at the same time, you kind of feel bad for Ord. He's just sad. He was really looking forward to have a picnic with Max and have Max and Ord play together. But nope, all Max wanted to do was just play with that old rug.
Yeah. Well, of course. Yes, of course, Max explains, I'm sorry, Ord. The Magic Carpet's just a fun toy, but you're my very best friend. Oh, isn't this...
This kind of has an Aladdin twist to the Dragon Tales episode because they're on the Magic Carpet.
Yes. And also, this is one of the only 2 season 1 episodes you can hear Max and Emmy's dad calling them. Because in the very first episode, you can hear their dad's voice at the beginning. But I think this is the only one you can hear their dads calling them at the end. So this is rare at times. This is when Max and Emmy's dad call for them at the end. How does he say they're calling for them at the end of Max and the Magic Carpet? Do you know it, Flick Love 2000? But when Max and Emmy's dad called for them at the end of Max and the Magic Carpet?
I don't think he does.
He does. He does. I watched Max
again in the end of the episode, The Ugly Draggling.
Oh, well, okay. So that's 3. So that's 3 of them that Max and Emmy's dad called for them in season 1. But there's only one season 2 episode that he calls for them at the end. Well, guess To Fly with Dragons that you can hear their dad from their room. You can hear his voice at the beginning. But this and another episode we're going to get to, the one you just mentioned, we might get to maybe, that's the only time in season 1 that their dad calls for them. Well, okay. Of course, yes, that's the end of Max and the Magic Carpet. But
next up, episode 32A, Rope Trick. Zach and Wheezy jump rope. Or at least get lessons from Emmy to jump rope.
Yeah, and of course, my favorite portion from the episode, Rope Trick, is when Max shows the rope with his RC car. All right, Rope, check this out. It kind of reminds me of even though yes, I had to watch the beginning of the first Toy Story.
Of course, Ketzel's special mixture spills all over the place.
Well, yes, but like I said, my favorite is when Max uses his RC car.
The rope behaves strangely.
God, that was really crazy. But of course, yes, like when Max uses his RC car, think, all right, rope, watch this. That kind of reminds me, yes, like as a kid, I had to watch the beginning of the first Toy Story as a kid.
Oh,
when Andy plays with...
He's asking you, what is your favorite TV show of all time?
Mine? or
Yeah.
or yours? Well,
Yours.
depending on like if it's a kid show or an adult show or teenage show.
Or favorite TV show of all time. It could be anything, kid or adult.
Let's go with Thomas and Friends.
Okay.
So yeah,
Hey, look.
now
Rope
let's
Trick
get.
Rope Trick is what I call, despite the rope acting crazy, it is still a pretty enjoyable and a good episode.
Yes, and like how Max used, this is R.C. Carl. I'll say this once more. Kind of reminds me of the beginning of the first Toy Story when Andy plays with Woody at the beginning and yada yada yada. You know how the opening of Toy Story goes. If you've seen the opening scene, I had to watch it as a kid. Like, on the VHS, I had no choice but to watch it, but on the DVD, I can skip it. But yes, let's get to episode 32B, which is Baby Troubles, which I find cute.
The children take care of Cassie's sister. Fun fact, this marks the first appearance of Kiki.
Yes.
And
voiced by Ellen
appearance
Kennedy.
of Cassie's mother.
Well, yes, that's true.
Well,
okay.
What can I say about this episode? It is a good episode. It's very cute.
I find cute to me too, because you know how, at least Kiki does not cry really hard. But I know the first time she cries is when Cassie takes the block from her, saying after telling her that's not for eating, and she starts crying. When she tried to chew on that, she could have choked and get sick.
She could have been sent to Dr. Boo Boo Gun for emergency services.
Yes, but and of course, like Cassie says, the bottle, Ord.
What bottle?
Kiki's bottle.
You mean this one?
What happened to all the milk?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay, Ord. I'll just get another bottle from my mom.
Kiki,
please don't cry. Cassie will be back soon. Yeah.
Where Kiki begins to cry because she misses her squishy. And Ord accidentally squishes it.
Well, before we get to that, know how before, like, when Ord
and they
tells
have to go
Kiki,
back to Dragonland to collect some more dragon nut seeds from a dragon nut tree for the squishies.
Well, did you know? Well, before that happens, like, you know how Ord tells Kiki, please don't cry. Cassie will be back soon. And then he says, well, you can do the impression of him saying, look at the silly dragon.
Look at the silly dragon. Boogie, 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 boogie. Look at the silly dragon, Kiki. Boogie, 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 boogie.
I don't think it's working, Ord. Look.
Anyway,
Oh.
Next up, we go into episode 33A, Small Time. Max and Emmy try to get the dragon's attentions when they are accidentally shrunk. That Dragon Tales episode reminds me of the SpongeBob Season 3 episode, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 4.
Yes, like when SpongeBob uses Mermaid Man's belt to shrink stuff. And like, yes, how Squidward yells out to SpongeBob, What did you do to me? SpongeBob, if you don't return me to normal size right now, you are going to be in really big trouble.
And then, of course, later on, there's Patrick's part. He's like, come on. I Wumbo, you Wumbo, he, she, me, Wumbo. Wumbology? The study of Wumbo? It's first grade, SpongeBob.
Well, yeah. And of course, Small Time, they have to figure out how to get back to normal size.
Do you think that Dragon Tales episode, Small Time, reminds you of that SpongeBob episode?
Yes, even more than Follow the Leader. Small Time does remind me more of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 4 more than Follow the Leader does. Well, actually, Follow the Leader probably does too.
And Patrick thinks that it's a Squidward action figure when it's the real Squidward shrunk by accident and not an action figure at all.
Yes, but of course, yes, they had to figure out a way to get the dragon's attention, Max and Emmy, when they were... And well, the funny thing is, like, why don't we just go home right now, Emmy?
And there's one part which I found is like, where Cassie is like, you don't think we... And then Ord says, squish them? No way.
And they show their feet. Phew. And then Ord... What does Ord say after Cassie's size? Phew.
I haven't watched that episode that much. I'll have to watch it again.
I watched
But
it
anyway,
before.
I call Small Time a good episode.
That's good. Of course,
Next up,
we go to Roller
we're gonna
Coaster
go
Dragon.
to what I think is a Dragon Trash episode. Episode
Why is it
33B, Roller
Why-
Coaster Dragon.
Why?
Wheezy gets a lesson in patience, but Wheezy wants to keep riding the roller coaster dragon over and over and over again. And
What the living heck?
even after
I didn't say
even
that-
after the owner of the roller coaster says that if you don't stop being patient, then we'll ask you to go home.
Yeah, and of course,
And that episode reminds me of the SpongeBob season 5 episode, Waiting, where SpongeBob is still waiting for a toy. SpongeBob becomes a big crybaby when it doesn't come, and then SpongeBob and Patrick become a crybaby when Patrick accidentally breaks SpongeBob's toy.
yes, Waiting is so bad in my opinion. One of the worst.
Just like Roller Coaster Dragon is a bad episode, it is just a really frustrating episode because Wheezy loses her patience.
Well, why do you think it's Dragon Trash? But I find it okay in my opinion. Well, I know you say you don't like it because of Wheezy's being impatient. Like,
Well, Wheezy being impatient, it just goes on for so long. I'm gonna have to call it a Dragon Trash episode.
I find it meh in my opinion because it reminds me of something else. Like, you know how I don't know what it reminds me of. So of course, you
can call it meh if you want to, but I'm sticking to it as a Dragon Trash episode because of Wheezy's constant impatience.
Okay. Well, of course, the funniest portion, they always do they played the game of patty cake in this episode. Another
That's
baby
the
song.
only thing I find funny, but everything else with Wheezy being impatient is just really wrong.
Okay, well now let's get on to episode 34A of season 1, which that be Up, Up, and Away, not to be confused with the Tom's episode from season 15 of the Nitrogen era, aka the Sharon Miller era.
Wait a minute. Episode 34A, Up, Up, and Away. Ord is trapped inside a giant floating bubble.
Yeah. Yes, it's different from the Tom's episode Up, Up, and Away from season 15 of the Sharon Miller era, where it's on a big balloon on a flatbed, but this one he's in a big bubble that won't pop. It's like this like something permanent will never come off, and like this, I don't know why this bubble will never pop, even though bubbles are supposed to pop normally. Well, of course, like he says are funny when he's inside the bubble too, Ord. He goes, "But I'll store." Of course not, Ord. We won't give up. Ever. We could pull the bubble to Ketzel. Maybe he'll know what to do. Hang on tight, Ord. Whoa. I find it good, in my opinion. Like, especially because Ord's voice when he's in the bubble is funny. And of course they freeze the bubble.
Up in a way, pretty enjoyable and a good episode.
The Dragon Tales version, not the Thomas version.
The Dragon Tales version, a good episode.
Yes. Okay, now on to
34B, Wild Time, or
Wild
Time. Max
just
really wrecks the Dragon Scale Festival when he starts acting silly. Well, this episode teaches a pretty good lesson about when is the right time to be acting silly. And at first, Max acts silly, which causes Zach and Wheezy's musical xylophone thing to come apart, which makes Zach and Wheezy very upset about the music thing being ruined. And then he acts silly again and breaks Ord's statue, causing Ord to burst into tears.
Yes, he exclaims out with tears in his eyes that his statue is broken, just like Zach and Wheezy's xylophone. Well, this is the only time Cassie gets pissed at Max. Oh my god. I watched Wild Time to death. Like, so many dang times.
Even on TV, airings on PBS,
Well, I watched it mostly on Netflix and on YouTube. I didn't know this episode existed as a kid when I was just, I don't know, 3, I guess?
Well, that episode is not released on VHS or DVD at all, but Up and Away is.
Yes. But of course, like, yes,
Overall, I give A Wild Time a meh episode.
Yes, and of course Max didn't even say sorry in this episode. He didn't even say sorry when he just did the burp, and it startled Zach and Wheezy, and their thing got
But
ruined.
At least he did apologize when he knocked down Ord's statue.
Yes. Well, of course, yes. But you know what it also reminds me of? Oh, well, Wild Time kind of reminds me of Charlie and Eddie from season 14 of the Sharon Miller era of Thomas, when Edward shows Charlie when there's a time to be really useful and when there's a time to be fun. For just being silly, but then when there's a time to be serious and really useful. That's what it reminds me of, Wild Time. And of course, yes, like this kind of reminds me of like when Cars, Lightning McQueen didn't even apologize when he wrecked the town, and he still went to traffic court. Even though I would have liked if McQueen just said sorry in the first place.
Anyway, next up, episode 35A, Bad Share Day.
Yes, the one with Max and Emmy fighting.
Trouble saying no when everyone asked to share a magic crayon. They made an error in it should be Cassie is trouble saying no when everyone asked to share a magic crayon. They made an error in the description.
Yeah, why did they mess that up? If I were the editor of Wikipedia, I could just switch that myself to saying it's Cassie, not Emmy. But yes, in the beginning I hated.
I'm not at Wikipedia. I'm just at Google.
Well, true, yes. I look up the episodes on Wikipedia. But of course,
but the beginning part with Emmy and Max fighting over the keyboard is just very frustrating to watch.
God, I kept getting so frustrated. Oh my freaking God, you two! Seriously, get over the stupid fighting.
Well, then Max's mom said, "Try to find something else till it's your turn, Max." But I could imagine Emmy and Max's dad coming in and say, "Emmy, share it with your big brother Max."
Or your little brother Max. Or whatever.
I can imagine Emmy and Max's dad saying, "Emmy, share the keyboard with your little brother Max."
Or he sometimes would say Maxito, but I think their dad speaks English. But of course, yes. And I like the one when Cassie screams, "I need my crayon!"
And there's this one funny part where, where Wheezy draws a Wheezy phone on the crayon, and Wheezy blows into it. It freaks Zach out, and Zach draws headphones to muffle the noise.
Yeah.
And basically, the Wheezy phone, I was expecting a Wheezy phone to be like a Wheezy version of a saxophone or something, but nope. I actually watched it. The Wheezy phone is actually just a Dragonland version of a tuba.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to give Bad Share Day a pretty... I'm going to call Bad Share Day meh. Because of the beginning being a little bit bad, but then everything else getting a bit better. It's not a Dragon Trash episode. No.
Well, that's for sure. Well, that is for sure, yes.
It's not a Dragon Trash episode. Oh, no doubt about that. It is not a Dragon Trash episode, but it is definitely still considered meh because of the beginning being bad.
Yeah. Okay, well, now let's get on to the 35B portion, which is Whole Lot of Maracas Going On.
All right. 35B. Whole Lot of Maracas Going On. Ketzel gets help making a new set of maracas.
That's cool. It's like that. Yes, they do the same thing as in the Big Cake Mix-Up. They split up to see who can find those things. And of course, the funniest portion when Max is about to fall into the river? I could see part of his body, like when Ord grabbed his shirt. God, like every time I see Max's body, like when he pulls up his shirt, God, it gets me every time. Well, there are some other episodes where he does make his shirt go up when I could see part of his body, like his belt.
Yeah.
And of course,
Yeah. Anyway, I find a whole lot of maracas going on to be a very enjoyable and a good episode. They make new
yeah,
maracas. They make ingredients to make them. And
yeah. And of course, the beginning
basically,
portions when, yeah, and Max
the
is
beginning
sleepy.
portion is the beginning portion of a whole lot of maracas going on is much. It is. Anyway, the beginning portion of a whole lot of maracas going on is much better than it was at that share day. That's for sure.
Yeah, like when Emmy says, "Wake up, sleepyhead."
And then Max is like,
I'm tired.
tired.
And then Emmy tries to get him awake, says, I'm awake. And of course, when Max falls asleep again at the end, and then Emmy tries to wake him up again, and then the funniest,
he says,
they
"Pop
say,
goes the Max."
Pop goes the Max. Or like, Pop goes the Diesel, with George Carlin's narration of Thomas.
Yeah, I think this is the third time Pop Goes the Weasel was heard on Dragon Tales. The third episode.
Yeah.
Anyway, next up, episode 36A, Ord Sees the Light. Ord tries to overcome his fear of the dark while looking for Hoppy. I'd say this is a mixture of the episodes The Forest of Darkness and Frog Prince all in one.
Don't you think?
I'd say Ord Sees the Light is a mixture of the episodes The Forest of Darkness and Frog Prince all in one episode.
Huh, interesting.
Because Ord tries to overcome the fear of the darkness. Max is trying to look for Hoppy in addition.
Well, yeah, that's true.
But one thing that really pains me about this episode is the fact that Cassie and Zach and Wheezy are absent.
I don't know why. They could have just put both of them in there just to make it easier. Well, I mean, it's the only thing I find interesting is like it could be a Snow Dragon's a better version. Because at least in Snow Dragon's, Emmy unfortunately couldn't go with Max and Ord because she didn't want to leave Cassie all alone. But this one, Emmy, well, I find it just a somewhat meh episode.
I find Ord Sees the Light somewhat meh.
Between good and meh.
Well, I'm going to give it a good episode only by like a hair.
By a hair? Yeah.
That means course, like a pretty low good episode.
Yeah. And of course for oh yeah, the 36B portion is the Ugly Draggling, the first appearance of Priscilla.
Anyway, a dragon named Priscilla is ashamed of her appearance.
Well, she gets embarrassed when she thinks her wings. She makes fun of her ugly wings, but I don't think her wings look ugly when I watch the episode.
So for a second, when I watched that episode, I thought Kathleen Barr was the voice of Priscilla, but it turns out I was wrong.
Interesting.
Anyway, I find the Ugly Draggling a pretty interesting episode. It focuses on there's nothing to be ashamed about being different. It is a good episode.
Yeah. Now, episode 37A, Out with the Garbage, which I do not like.
Upset when Zach cleans up her side of the room. I find it to be the perfect example of a dragon trash episode. And you want to know why?
Why?
Well, it's because Wheezy gets all upset when Zach throws away his things because Zach thinks it's garbage, but Wheezy thinks it's her treasures. And by the way, Wheezy gets upset when the treasures are being gone. And to be honest, Zach is being a complete jerk to Wheezy in that episode.
God, that's why I could not stand that episode, even though they could have just added Ord and Cassie to situate out that problem.
Yeah. And by the way, Wheezy starts crying because she misses her bracelet.
Yeah, she was.
And then Zach tries to make it up to Wheezy by giving her stuff back. And then there's this garbage dragon that appears, and
Yeah.
he gives Wheezy the purple bracelet. But still, because of Zach being a complete jerk to Wheezy, it is a Dragon Trash episode. But it's not a somewhat bad Dragon Trash episode. It's a light one, but not as light. But not it's not a bad one compared to Bully for You, which we will get into it very soon. So be prepared.
Okay, well, let's get to episode 37B, which is Lights, Camera,
Dragons.
I just said that.
Pushes everyone too hard while directing a movie. This episode, I'm going to call it another low good episode, mostly because it's pretty interesting to watch Emmy making a movie, but then Max gets angry when he is not part of the film of the movie that Emmy's making, even becoming so angry at the point that he doesn't want to help Emmy make the dragon video anymore because he's angry.
Yeah, and remember you did that impression of Max saying, anything would be better than doing anything on any stupid video. Like that's yes, like I mentioned, that's like they don't want to say the word stupid on Sprout.
Yeah. And at first Max gets angry with Emmy because he's not part of the video and he really wants to be a part of it, but Emmy did not allow him.
God.
That's not being a good friend at all. That's not being a good sister.
God. Just imagine if I was doing that to my sister, but she would let me be part of her video, and it made me pissed.
And then of course, near the end of the episode, Emmy is a little sad because no one wants to help Emmy finish the video with her.
Yeah.
And then Emmy decides to admit the truth, saying that she didn't really think about what Max wanted, and then he apologizes. And then she apologizes to Max, saying that she can be in the video. And then Max simply says that he is not a dragon, and then says, you don't have to be one because I'm making a new video called Max and a Giant Sandwich, and you are the star.
Yeah, and of course the very end, like, when Max tells Emmy, this one's about a tickle monster
that attacks Emmy.
And of course the episode does end. But yeah. But Lights, Camera, Dragons, very good. Boy.
This is where we got a lot to talk about. Bully for You,
episode 38A.
Dealing with a bully. Dragon Trash. For sure.
It's a mild Dragon Trash.
Like this episode because a lot of it has bothered me to a point.
Well, the beginning was okay.
At the beginning of the episode, yes, this is the first time we get to see Spike. But Spike is just being very rude in that episode to Cassie. He makes fun of Cassie for shrinking, even saying, "What are you shrinking for, huh?" And then later on, he takes Cassie's sugar plums.
What a jerk!
Burst into tears, crying, "Spike took my basket of sugar plums!"
Well, tell him to give it back.
I can't! He's too mean! That's not the right way to stand up to a bully. Let me show you how to do it. Go up there, tell them that you have had enough, and that if
like George Carlin said.
Go right away if it keeps happening.
Seriously, Cassie, you have to do the thing that George Carlin said. As Mr. Conductor, played by George Carlin.
What makes it even more infuriating is that Spike gets away with it without a punishment whatsoever.
Yes. Like, you know how Dan stood up to Buster the right way, and of course, JB King realizes what's going on, and he gets his nephew in trouble. That's the good thing. And of course, what if we made it better? Make Spike make fun of Zach and Wheezy. Because what if that stupid Ketzel's fault he didn't pair up Spike with someone else?
Or better yet, what if Spike better, or what could have been worse is if Spike actually bullied Ord because of his size.
God, more jerkness. God.
He'll be like, you can't make fun of my size that way. I'm going home.
God. And then he would just be called up by the principal.
And he's like, Spike, I'd like to have a severe word with you.
Yes, we could have seen Ketzel pissed.
Against the rules. You cannot bully anyone. Just like I told Max that you can't hit anyone.
Yes, we could have had Ketzel pissed off, like first see him with a pissed off expression. Of course.
Anyway.
Well, of course.
Spike, you are unwelcome to go back to the school after what you did. You are permanently expelled from my school in the sky. Get out and don't come back until you learn to stop bullying.
But that's Ketzel's fault in the first place. He paired Spike up with Cassie, even though I would never want to be partners with someone bullying me. I would just tell my teacher, this is what I was doing if I was being bullied.
Gosh, that Dragon Tales episode kind of reminds me of a bad episode of Arthur called So Funny I Forgot to Laugh, when Arthur calls Sue Ellen a sheepdog and constantly teases Sue Ellen about it. And then Mr. Wackburn has a word with him saying that he has no tolerance with this type of behavior.
Yes, well, at least he talks severely to Arthur. But anyways, Bully for You, a bad episode. It's the
I'd say No Hitter might be an even worse episode than Bully for You, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, actually, hang on a second. Just a second.
Or at
okay.
least in Bully for You, Spike did not call Ord fat.
Yes, they do not want to say that word in a kids show. Just like how they can't say the word choking, they didn't want to interfere with the children interfering with choking in the Thomas UK version of that episode. I don't want to say it.
Arthur actually did say, "You're choking me," at the end of the Arthur episode. Mom and Dad have a great big fight.
Well, anyways.
Anyway, next up. Much better season 1 episode. Much better than Bully for You. It is the Great White Cloud Whale.
Okay.
Captain Scallywag pursues the Great White Cloud Whale.
Okay, after I've been on that huge rant of Bully for You, how it's so dragon trash, as much as No Hitter, what do I think of the Great White Cloud Whale? I think one portion is funny. Like, when Wheezy sings, oh, where has my great white...
And then, of course, Jack breaks the fourth wall and says, "That's a dog song!"
Well, he doesn't look at the audience, because you know how annoyed I was if Zach looked at me saying that's a dog song? Kind of like, well, I don't mind it in Blue's Clues. Steve looks at the audience, but the kids' voices can be heard. But yeah, don't get me started on Super Y. I don't want to watch that garbage of a PBS Kids show ever again.
Well, why would they have to put No Hitter and Bully for You on VHS and DVD format? This is one of the episodes these should be one of the episodes never to be released at all, because they are very bad.
I don't know. I guess Sony wanted to give it out to kids? I don't know. Bell cows,
Yeah,
yes.
I think a much better episode to finish off the Don't Give Up DVD should be Ord's Unhappy Birthday from the Look on the Bright Side VHS, and that could definitely replace Bully for You.
Well, the only problem is Ord's Unhappy Birthday and Bully for You are both on the Look on the Bright Side VHS.
But we could have an alternate version of the DVD of Don't Give Up, which replaces Bully for You with Ord's Unhappy Birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway. So, The Great White Cloud Whale, it is definitely a good episode.
Much better than Bully for You.
Oh.
Okay,
Anyway,
now I'm coming down.
We have one more bad episode of Dragon Tales to get over.
Oh my god, we still have to get
B portions. But anyway,
well,
before we get into that, we go to episode 39A. To do or not to do. Playing Dragon Ball among the trees proves to be a poor idea when the ball rolls into a strange-looking cave.
but then it turns into like a big rhinoceros or rhino. I found that plot weird because, Cassie was the only one left outside and the rest of the friends were trapped in there. And she says the funny, Kitsy coo, tickle wickle pickle. And then he laughs after he gets tickled. He's, ha. And then they gasp, whoa, when their ball comes out.
Yeah, and anyway,
now,
to do or not to do.
Very
to
good.
To be honest, it was a little bit scary of the images of the giant Dragonoceros.
Wasn't it? I wasn't scared of it I didn't see it as a kid, but I watched it. I wasn't freaked out by it.
Yeah. But anyway, we have one more bad Dragon Tales episode to talk about.
Oh my god.
Much ado about Noddlings.
Well, the beginning portion I gotta tell you of that, Much Ado About Noddlings, Emmy gets pissed at Max for not listening when he's fooling around with his bulldozer, I think, or was it his tractor, I think? Or was it a bulldozer? I don't know.
A bulldozer.
Yes, and the bulldozer, and then she gets
Emmy's blocks.
And she gets pissed off. Well,
what
but
makes
at least
it even worse is the Giant of Nod's tone of voice. He's like,
level 5.
I demand you fix it immediately.
Or worse, it's like, Flynn, what are you doing?
Or what could be worse? It kind of sounds like the Beast from Beating the Beast. Do you realize what you could have done?
You've come to stir the beast, have you? Yes, I hate the Giant Nod screaming at level 5 tolerance. That's worse than Sir Topham Hatt's level 5 tolerance in Fiery Flynn or
that reminds me of Squidward screaming at a 5 tolerance like that in A Day Without Tears when he's like, Krabby Patty, nothing!
God, that's why I can't even watch that stupid episode of Day Without Tears because SpongeBob will not stop crying like a stupid crybaby.
Or what about in Good Neighbors when Squidward is like, you call yourselves good neighbors? You're the worst neighbors ever! You don't deserve to wear those fezzes!
And of course, when he finally says to tell them to stop calling him president.
Stop calling me president! That reminds me of those SpongeBob episode, Good Neighbors. By the way, the Giant of Nod screams at them, kind of like when Squidward screams at SpongeBob and Patrick in Good Neighbors.
God, and of course, they try to think of a way to fix it. And like when he screams really hard, he blows their I don't think he makes them deaf, but he blows their hair up so bad. Because of his big scream, yell, he causes their hair to get messed up. Look, dragons don't have hair.
Anyway, those are bad episodes of season 1. These last episodes are not bad at all.
Ooh, okay. Let me.
Episode 40A. Don't bug me. Max scares Ord with a spider he finds during a butterfly hunt, aka the flutterby.
Yeah. Also, I could do the thing again. Ord, there's a big bug on you!
Get it away! Get it away!
It's just a rubber spider, silly. Where's he going?
I thought you were my friend.
I am. I never thought you were afraid of my rubber spider.
I wasn't.
Then how come you ran away?
Because I didn't know it was a rubber spider, and I thought it was real. I'm not afraid of rubber spiders, but I am afraid of real spiders, and lots of other bugs too. They're so icky looking, and I'm afraid they might bite me, and it hurt, and that's why I'm afraid of them.
Well, I'm not scared of bugs, and I'm littler than you. Why are you afraid?
I don't know. I just am.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah, anyway, I find Don't Bug Me to be a pretty interesting, a good episode.
Yeah. Oh, also forgot to mention Cassie's lines in that one. I think you hurt his feelings, Max. But it was just a joke.
Anyway, next up, we go to the season 1 finale episode.
The very last one. Do you think we can do some of season 2, or are we just going to do just season 1, the rest of the portion of season 1 today?
Well,
So I think that's
actually, we'll go over season 2 as well in this stream.
Are you sure? Well, it's gonna be if we can. Well, we're gonna finish season 1, so we can do some of the season 2 episodes because luckily there's 24 episodes in that season. Well, we're gonna do that. Okay, let's get to the last of season 1, and then we're gonna go into season 2, the last of season 1 of their cell animation over and over.
Max is getting across the monkey bars, but he's angry when he doesn't know how to do it.
Like, he comes into the playroom all pissed off, saying he can't even do anything, even though he's done all these things in the past. And of course, yes, and like when Cassie says, "How come you two didn't pick out your flowers yet?" It's Wheezy's fault.
It's not.
I love all of the colors of the rainbow, but Zach just loves orange.
Anyway, I really like Ord's voice when he gets stuck in the sap. It's really funny.
Yeah. Huh? I can't get out. Huh?
Get out.
Huh?
I can't get out.
Huh?
I can't get out.
No, he says, I'm stuck in sticky pepper thistle sap.
I'm stuck in sticky sepal thistle sap.
Tastes like maple syrup.
Tastes like
Ord!
syrup.
Ord, what are you doing?
Anyway, that was every episode of Dragon Tales Season 1 review. While I call Season 1A a meh season, I'm going to up Season 1B and call it a good season. And as for Season 1 in general, well, it is a good season.
A mixture of good and somewhat bad episodes. Now we get into a better season which has cleaner paint animation, and it's cut some of people's favorite season of Dragon Tales.
Anyway.
We're going into season 2 now.
We're going into season 2, which hopefully we'll see less bad episodes in season 2.
Unfortunately, we're going to get into a bad one, later. But we're going to start off with season 2, episode 1A, Lucky Stone.
Ord loses his good luck charm that helps him perform flying tricks.
Well, he does.
The first episode to use digital ink and paint animation. The first season to be named under the Sesame Workshop era since season 1 was made when it was still called Children's Television Workshop.
Yeah, and it aired on the 4th day of June, 2001. I know the release date.
And that was actually a week before JT the Jet Plane premiered on PBS as well.
Yeah. And of course, this one, Lucky Stone, the very first episode of season 2, the A portion, where Max screams, "Uh-oh!" 4 aerial zigzags. He says, "Go, go, go!"
Why
says,
did you do that?
I didn't know it was a rock. I didn't know. I thought it was a different kind of rock. And then I actually made this mistake when I was doing my own voice impressions of season 2. Will I get water up my nose? And then Cass.
Anyway, I'm gonna call Lucky Stone a meh episode.
Meh, I find it good actually. Despite Ord was a very upset. It wasn't a big. He just cried a little bit. I know he was upset. He was upset.
Well, actually, I was originally gonna call it meh, but I'm gonna call it a good episode.
Well, were you gonna say meh, call it meh for you, or just say good?
Good.
Okay. Now on to episode 1B of season 2, the Me First Wizard.
It says, a selfish wizard won't let anyone else run the obstacle course. This episode teaches a good lesson not to be selfish, kind of like in the VeggieTales episode King George and the Ducky in a way.
Yeah. And like, you know how they have to think of who should say the chant, me first, go away. That's not the way friends play. And like they don't want to go from heights first from short to tall, and Ord goes pissed saying, "No, I'll always be last unless we go backwards."
This is one of the earlier season 2 episodes because it has the season 1 animated teeth.
For some reason, but it says we're using digital ink and paint. I don't know why. I guess this is their first attempt at digital ink and paint. Well, anyways.
Anyway, next.
Yes. We go into.
I find the Me First Wizard a good episode.
Oh, that's good.
Next up, episode 2. Or episode 42 of Dragon Tales overall.
Well,
Cassie
yes.
Catches up. Cassie can't win a prize at the Dragonland Fair.
Well, the one that her and Emmy, win at the end is the one where they try to get this apple out of the water, but the rules are you cannot use your hands. That's another something you can use anything but your hands. Well, that's not like soccer in a way, is it?
Kinda. Well, I find season 2 to be kind of like a mixture of season 1 and season 3. It's like season 3 because of the digital ink and paint animation, but it's like season 1 because Enrique is absent.
Well, yeah, that's true. And of course, yes, this is the first season 2 episode where Max and Emmy's mom call for them at the end. And it's for spaghetti.
And I noticed the Dragonland background music for when they say, I wish with all their heart to fly with dragons in the land apart. Sounds significantly different in this season and in season 3 compared to what it sounded like in season 1.
Well, it's because of due to the instruments, yes. Well, anyway, of course, episode 2B of season 2 is Berry.
Or gets stuck in the mouth of a cave while looking for dragonberries.
Yeah, and it kind of reminds me of how Pooh is stuck in Rabbit's Hole. It kind of reminds me of Winnie the Pooh.
Well, in Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree.
Well, it's one of the segments in the movie The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, the movie. Because, well, they just were combining with some storybook segments in the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, the film from 1977. And of course, they have to figure out a way, but they use mud to get him out. In the Pooh version, they had to use many of Pooh's friends, including Christopher, to get him unstuck. This one, they use mud. And then Ord... Yeah.
I find Very Berry to be a good episode, just like Cassie Catches Up.
Yeah. Now, on to episode 3A of season 2, Finders Keepers.
Or episode 43A of Dragon Tales overall.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying different episodes because this is a different season.
Oh, okay.
Well, if you don't mind, if you just want to say if you know the episode numbers, that's fine. I'll hear you say the portion and I'll say the name of the episode. Since there are a total.
Yeah, it's fine if you say the episode of a different season with the numbers and stuff, though.
Okay, so now I'll just say, well, this is episode 43 of season 2, episode 43A, Finders Keepers.
Wheezy loses the tickets for the aquarium in her very messy room.
Well, of course, they do a trick to retrace her steps to basically help her remember where she left the tickets, and they were back at their cave all along. And yeah, I gotta say, good episode. Finders Keepers, there's nothing bad about it. Well, of course, I know Ord does worry. What if Wheezy never finds the tickets, and we won't get to go to the aquarium and go on rides and eat purple dragon corn?
And then there's a scene before Ord gets worried when Zach gets worried and says, "Oh, why did I give you the tickets to hold?"
Oh, no. Oh, sorry. That's just my dad. Flick over 2000. What was it?
Anyway, episode 3B, remember the pillow fort.
Oh, my. This
Max
one?
and Ord fight over what color the pillow fort should be.
It helps out Zach and Wheezy with their music lesson they need to give out to their school thing tomorrow. And about their saying, is not, is to, is not, is to. Now mad at you. Purple's cool. Red is better. What are you yelling about? Max and I are having a fight. What about? Ord thinks that his red fort is better than my purple fort. Max thinks his...
I find Remember the Pillow Fort to be a low met episode. Their constant fighting is just not good.
Yeah, and also like when Emmy and Cassie fight for a little bit, you're wrong. Red isn't better than purple. Is better than...
Do Zach and Wheezy argue about the forts in addition in some scenes of the episode as well?
No. It's just Emmy and Cassie. They do that, and then they just gasp. Why are they fighting? Ask why are they fighting. Go. I'm not wrong. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Before we get to that, of course, they show flashbacks to previous episodes where they think they want to be friends again. And they can't decide how can they both be friends again. They want to get to both with what they both want. Do you know the episodes they flash back to? I'll say them in chronological order when they show references to Ord's unhappy birthday, snow dragons, a liking to biking, under the weather, the big cake mix-up, and the finale over and over. Okay, so Remember the Pillow Fort, kind of good in my opinion, but I think you say it's kind of meh. Oh boy, not another bad episode.
Here we go. One of the bad episodes of season 2.
The only bad one.
Funky cloud.
God.
Followed by a black rain cloud everywhere he goes. You know what this episode reminds me of?
What?
This episode reminds me of the SpongeBob SquarePants episode from season 8, Are You Happy Now? Where Squidward is legitimately depressed and is suicidal.
Oh my god. See, I have not watched that episode because I don't even care for recent SpongeBob. It's just, there's just nothing good about them at all. Well, some can be funny. Okay, there's one SpongeBob episode I find from season 5 kind of funny. But other than that, just blows out. I just gave up on SpongeBob. Yes, in Big Funky Cloud, this is like the time like I had to watch it when I was playing with Thomas Home Media releases with at the same time with Percy's Chocolate Crunch with Gordon almost depressed, and Gordon takes a tumble when Sir Tom was pissed at him, saying, "Well, Gordon, you wanted to show Salty a thing or two, and you certainly have done that." Yes, and of course, Ord will not stop crying throughout the entirety of the episode when they try to make him feel better, and just nothing works. I think this is Finn's Blanky 2.0 in a way.
Yeah.
Or maybe this is Baby Troubles 2.0. I don't know.
Anyway, I call it a Dragon Trash episode for sure.
Agreed. Dragon Trash.
It's a very heavy one too.
Because agreed.
It's a very, very, very miserable sad episode, but it is nothing like the. But at least it's not. At least it's not like the season 8 episode, Are You Happy Now from SpongeBob SquarePants. That SpongeBob episode is actually much worse than Big Funky Cloud because of Squidward being suicidal.
But there's a good episode that's the sister episode to this one that's better, of episode 4B of season 2.
So, do you kind of agree in a way that that Big Funky Cloud episode is kind of like the SpongeBob season 8 episode, Are You Happy Now, in a way?
Yes, double thumbs up, agreed. The worst.
So, would you find the SpongeBob season 8 episode, Are You Happy Now, or the Dragon Tales season 2 episode, Big Funky Cloud, to be worse, if you were to pick between them?
Definitely Big Funky Cloud.
I would have to say, Are You Happy Now is even worse, because well, at least Squidward doesn't cry throughout the episode, but throughout the episode he is legitimately depressed and becomes suicidal, which makes it even worse than that Dragon Tales episode.
Yeah, but let's get into the B portion of episode 4 of season 2, which I think is the better sister episode than this piece of trash.
And it is called Copycat.
Oh, that one is cool. Like when Max finds this two-headed cat and he, some reason, says the phrase that Emmy, not Emily from Toss and Friends, Emmy, that he says the phrase that Emmy usually says. And then Max says definitely, just like, usually that's what Emmy says, definitely.
Or what if there was a sequel to the episode Copycat called The Copycat Returns, where this time the copycat makes Emmy act like Max.
That'd be kind of funny because, Emmy could be all silly like Max in a way. And then Max says, "That's what I'm supposed to do, Emmy."
Yeah. Anyway, Copycat is a good episode.
Very good.
Next up is
episode 5A of season 2, One Big Wish. Yeah,
Max
that one where they
becomes a giant after he wishes he was bigger.
But of course he doesn't like it anymore. He wants to be small again. That's his second time crying. Yes, I know how the line goes. Emmy, I don't want to be big anymore. I want to be my small size again.
And actually, I realized that they actually reused the sound of Emmy crying from the episode No Hitter when Max cried in One Big Wish.
Really? But
Yes.
Despite One Big Wish is a little bit better than No Hitter.
Yeah, they actually reused the sound of Emmy crying from No Hitter when Max cried in One Big Wish.
Oh my god, I didn't notice that. I watched One Big Wish a few times, and I didn't notice that. They recycled that. Oh, of course, they have to figure out a way to get Max back to normal size and Ketzel.
But anyway, despite the fact that Max's crying is recycled audio of Emmy crying in No Hitter, I'd say One Big Wish is a much better episode than No Hitter.
Yes, despite that one flaw, perfect close to 10 out of 10, but probably just an 8 out of 10. For my liking.
8 out of 10 definitely makes it a good episode, though.
Yeah, not just perfect, though.
It's not one of the best episodes of Dragon Tales, but it is definitely a good episode.
Okay, but now let's get into the
next up, episode 5B, Breaking Up is Hard to Do.
Kind of a little bit weaker in my
Max
opinion.
and Ord argue over who gets to bring him home their joint project, the whatchamacallit.
Yeah, and of course, the first time when
this is also the third time in season 2 where Ord cries. 3 times Ord has cried in season 2. First in Lucky Stone, then in Big Funky Cloud, and then in Breaking Up is Hard to Do.
Yes, because how when Max steps on his toe and after he says, "No, it's not!"
And they actually reused the sound of Ord crying in Big Funky Cloud when Max stepped on Ord's tail and Breaking Up is Hard to Do.
And then Cassie explains, "Are you okay, Ord?" And you can do you know that you have to do the Ord impression when he exclaims out crying, Max stepped on my toe by accident, and it really, really hurts. And of course, like when Max says, I thought you were my friend too, but I guess you're not. I'm taking this home right now.
Well, I wouldn't call it a Dragon Trash episode. It's not a bad one like Big Funky Cloud, thank goodness. So it's gonna go up into a meh.
Well, yeah, it's kind of a little bit weaker of season 2, but it's still okay. Well, it's meant for you, but I find it okay.
And also, I could imagine what it'd be like if there was a sequel to this time, where this time Zach and Wheezy and Enrique were arguing over who got to take the whatchamacallit home.
Or what if it was just Cassie and Emmy, because they did a short argument and remember the poem.
Like, Emmy, that hurt!
Are you alright, Cassie? Wait, oh yeah, might we do a family, like, a different version of Breaking Up Is Hard to do, but, well, Ord asks, are you alright, Cassie?
No, I'm not alright!
What happened?
Emmy has accidentally stuck my finger.
I thought you were my friend too, Cassie, but I guess you're not anymore. I'm taking this whatchamacallit project home right now.
Wait! Don't go! Remember the time Max and I had that same arguing problem? It all happened one day.
I don't want to remind myself again, so let's not do this again, please. Then I have to situate out myself. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Cassie. I didn't mean to stub your finger. You can take the project home first if you want. And Cassie's excited and she's going to take it home. Okay, now let's get to episode 6A of season 2, A New Friend. First appearance of Lorca.
Uses her wheelchair to overcome imposing obstacles.
Yeah.
This is the first time a disabled dragon appears.
Yeah, I like her voice performance, Lorca, but I don't know why Defunct TV calls Lorca a she, but some people call it a he.
I could say that Lorca might possibly be a female because she's voiced by a female actress.
Well, technically true, but it looks kind of like a boy in a way. Well, she's like a makeover of a guy, but it's just to do the voice of the actress voicing the character. And
I can imagine what it'd be like if a male actor voiced Lorca, and what it would be like if that were the case.
Well, of course, yes, I think Lorca should be described female. Well, of course, when Lorca asks Max, have you seen a wheelchair before? And Max goes, mm-mm, instead of Why can't he just say instead of mm-mm? I find a new friend very good.
Okay, I find it a good episode as well.
Yes.
Because it's the first time you get to see Lorca.
Perfect 10 out of 10.
And also, I can imagine what it'd be like if Lorca was used in season 1.
Yeah, her and that other character we're going to get to from episode 7, the next episode, they couldn't do it because due to the money, they couldn't use another artist to do it.
All right.
But of course, let's get to the B portion of episode 6 of season 2. Have no fear.
Ord conquers his fear of butterfrogs. It's like the season 2 version of the episode Don't Bug Me,
where he's afraid of butterfrogs this time instead of bugs. Well, at least this one he does not cry, thank goodness.
And at least Cassie doesn't cry either in that episode, because I noticed in that episode Cassie was very sad when the butterfrog was lost.
I'm sorry, Cassie. We can't find her anywhere. Me neither. I was worried she was going to cry, but she didn't. Oh, boy. But the next episode, we're going to see Cassie cry in season 2. Well, we're going to get to it in a sec. Well, of course, Ord overcomes his fear, and he bravely rescues BB, who was stuck in Sid's branch.
All right, next up, episode
7.
Boy. Cassie, the green-eyed dragon.
We're doing it. We're at it. We're at it,
Cassie
guys.
becomes jealous of all the attention her little brother is getting.
Well, yes, but I gotta tell you, every impression I can do, everything I can do from Cassie the Green-Eyed Dragon. Like, I'll do the one I do the voice version myself. Wave bye-bye, Finn. Bye. As it's a little baby dragon. You remember? Remember?
I can do the impression of Cassie crying. It's like, I'm not. I've worked so hard to make it.
Well, we can see now it's a mountain, and it will look very cool for your project. And of course, she gets mad at Ketzel, saying, "But it's supposed to be a castle."
Yeah, I can imagine if they actually made a sequel to that episode with this time Zach and Wheezy being jealous because of
yeah, well, yeah, and of course the rest of Cassie the Green-Eyed. And actually, yes, the first time we see Finn, actually what's wrong? It's not Kathleen Barr who voices Finn. It's Ellen Kennedy, the same one who does Kiki and Cassie's mom. It's Ellen Kennedy, not Kathleen Barr, who does Wheezy and Polly, Nimbus. It's Ellen Kennedy. I looked up on the Wikipedia page a few days ago. It's actually Ellen Kennedy. But I mean, I like that lady, Ellen Kennedy, don't get me wrong. And of course, yes. Oh, and also, yes, when Finn starts to cry at the very end because he says he's hungry.
Yeah, I can imagine what it'd be like if they made a sequel to that episode where this time Zach and Wheezy are jealous of their baby getting all the attention.
God, what if we called Zach, either Zach or Wheezy something, a colored-eyed something dragon?
I'd say, what about Zach the blue-eyed dragon?
That's kind of interesting. And of course, yes,
like, wait! No, you ruined everything! Thanks a lot!
Well, of course, hang on. Of course, like before that happens, Finn cries, but before that happens, Cassie does say, "I do love Finn, and I love Max."
Now, what would you imagine what it would be like in the sequel after Zach says like, "That's it, you've ruined everything.
God.
I'm taking this home."
Oh my God. And of course, yes, after Finn cries, well, it's due to Ellen Kennedy voicing him, and then Cassie says, "Uh-oh, Finn's hungry."
Who would you like to be the voice of Zach and Wheezy's baby? How about Roger Bumpus, who was the voice of Squidward, doing the same crying sound as baby Squidward in the Squid Baby episode?
Well, that'd be interesting.
It would be like,
well, yeah. And of course, another thing I want to say, yes, after Ketzel explains to Cassie, "I think it must be his snack time." And of course, when she does the funny airplane,
right.
of course, Finn waves.
Something's missing. Misses Emmy, well, she's away at summer camp.
This one is better than My Emmy or Bust. You know why? At least Emmy did tell Max he can still go to Dragonland while she goes to the store.
Well, yeah. And we kind of did a fan-made season 4 episode called Flying Solo, where this time all of the kids are absent, and this time it's just the dragons. And
yeah. But of course, yes, at least Emmy did warn Max about the dragon scale, and Max says it really slowly without freaking out. I wish with all my heart to fly with dragons in a land apart. And of course, Zach and Wheezy shout, "Hey, look, it's Max. Love it. Where's Emmy? She's not coming. Not coming? I don't love it."
All right. Yeah. We made up a season 4 episode where all the kids are absent and all the dragons are sad about it.
Yeah.
It's
Here,
like,
so yeah.
and as a result, there are no Dragonland entrances or exits in the episode at all due to the kids being absent. It just starts at Dragonland.
Ah, what a terrible thing. And of course, yes. Well, I don't. There. I was gonna say I was gonna give something's missing a perfect 10 out of 10, but I don't know why Max says at the end of something's missing he doesn't know how to write, but he's been drawing with crayons since he was a kid. Oh well, that's just to say I don't hate the episode, the whole thing. The rest of the episode was good.
That could possibly be a continuity error.
Kinda, yes, because you know how Max drew with his crayons.
I find something's missing to be a good episode, just like Cassie the Green-Eyed Dragon.
Well, it's good. Of course, yes, and Max says the Dragonland rhyme to go back home very smoothly and nicely. And of course, he thinks he'll wait to see when his letter gets home, sent from Dragonland, thinking his mom will read to him, but that's cut off. Okay, now on to episode 8A of season 2, A Crown for Princess Cadoodle.
Everyone helps Sir Doodle deliver the crown to Princess Cadoodle. This marks Princess Cadoodle's first appearance. The second appearance is in musical scales from season 3.
Yeah, well, hopefully, I think what we'll do here is we'll probably get to the 12th episode of season 2 for this portion, since we got through all of season 1 now. But yeah, this one's good in my opinion too. A Crown for Princess Cadoodle. They say some magic words to get the gate to open. How do the magic words go in A Crown for Princess Cadoodle when they have to get the gates open and they have to figure out the magic words to get the gate open?
I haven't watched that episode, so I can't really answer that.
Oh, what a dang shame. Yeah. Well, anyway, yeah. And of course, they get the crown to Princess Cadoodle, and luckily she was pleased to get her crown despite Cassie caused a little accident, but it was still able to make her happy. Princess Cadoodle. And the B portion of episode 2 of season 8. No, season 2, episode 8B. Excuse me. Didn't mean to get it mixed up.
Freeze a cloud. Cassie worries that Emmy doesn't like her anymore.
Well, in reality, oh my god, don't get all over me if I scream out this line from episode 3, Revenge of the Sith of Star Wars. You don't mind if I shout it out, don't you?
Go ahead.
Liar! That's like when Anakin yells liar to Obi-Wan Kenobi because he thinks, God. Well, I mean, I like Revenge of the Sith. It's my favorite Star Wars prequel. But of course, yes. And then Emmy says, what? That's not true. Then how come you spent all day playing Countdown? And of course, yes, it's due to this green dragon. That's cursor like Cassie's the green-eyed dragon, but this really is a green dragon named Nikki, who is voiced by, I don't want to say it's Chantal Strand, but I think it's either Kathleen Barr or Ellen Kennedy or the same person who voiced Lorca. Well, anyway, Three's a Crowd. I like Three's a Crowd, despite like Cassie acts mopey. It's not like Max and the Magic Carpet in a way, isn't it? Or no?
And no.
Okay, so it's different in a way. Of course, like Emmy explains, Nikki's just a fun. She's not real. She's just a good friend, but Cassie's still her best friend, no matter what.
All right, like next up, episode 9A. Knock knock, who's where?
Is it? You said who's?
Knock knock, who's there? The Giant of Nod steals 2 of Cassie's pickup sticks.
Okay, at least this is his first time in season 2, the Giant Nod, and he doesn't yell. Yeah, I can do the Giant Nod's impression when Cassie yells out, Mr. Giant! Hello! Yes? Huh? Pickup sticks? No. Those are firewood. We're using those to make a fire in the Knuckerhole caves.
And
yeah,
what if the Giant of Nod appeared in season 4? And what if beginning in season 4, the Giant of Nod was voiced by Roger Bumpus, who is the voice of Squidward? He's like, I am the Giant of Nod.
Well, that'd be interesting. Of course, yes, back to Knock Knock Who's Where. They have to get 2 Cassie's pickup sticks, but luckily they do a trick to get the sticks.
MRKP 2003, I don't really have any suggestions at this point. But anyway, let's continue.
Yeah. Let me get back to what I was saying about Knock Knock Who's Where, not to be confused with Knock Knock Who's There. Knock Knock Who's Where they have to get 2 of Cassie's pickup sticks back, but they do a trick to make sure they don't get lost because the Knuckle tunnels can be confusing. I think, yeah, in an instance, yes, Cassie's tummy growls. Whose tummy growls the most in Dragon Tales? Ord's, Cassie's, or Zach's?
What?
Whose tummy growls the most in Dragon Tales?
Who does what the most?
Who does the most tummy growling in Dragon Tales? Is it Ord, Cassie, or Zach, or Wheezy?
I'd say they all do a good job.
Well, okay. I see Ord's tummy growling the most. But of course, okay, back and they get their pickup sticks back, and it's funny how they hug each other. Zach and Wheezy hug themselves, but they say, "Were you lost?" Of course not. Well, maybe a little. And of course, yes, they explain. Yeah. And now onto the B portion of episode 9 of season 2, as I'm trying to say, don't mess this up again.
Just desserts. The dragons help Mungus make a huge gelatin dessert for his mother. This is the second time that Mungus cries. The first being Zach and the Beanstalk.
Yes, due to the fact that the friends didn't realize there was something on. Why couldn't they just ask what was there on the thing before Mungus came onto the scene? Why couldn't they just found Mungus at the first place and asked him what was that? Instead of just playing around on it and they caused him to cry. Why couldn't they just ask what that was? I don't know why. I mean, I find the rest of the plot, they just help him. They just make up for what they did and just fix him up a new one to make them all better. I like the episode, don't get me wrong.
Anyway.
And of course, Max and Cassie go
into the last episodes to air in June of 2001. And that is Dragonberry Drought. Mungus makes all the Dragonberries for his Dragonberry pie.
Yeah, they figure, where did all the Dragonberries go? And they figured it was Mungus who took them. Oh, you can believe this? This and the sister episode, Max and Emmy's mom called for them at the end. Can you believe that? Well, we'll get to that in a sec. And yes, Max and Emmy's mom called for them in this portion, and the other portion, she does call for them at the end again. Well, of course, at least Mungus does not cry in this episode, thank goodness.
Even though he cried in the previous episode.
But this one, he just feels... He just wanted to make the Doremi birds happy by using some of the Dragonberries to make them a special pie. And of course, how does Max and Emmy's mom call for them at the end of Dragonberry Drought? When Max and Emmy are back home?
I haven't watched that episode that much.
Oh, well, I know you watched seasons 1 and 2 of Dragon Tales the most, right?
Well, season 1 the most out of all the other seasons.
Well, okay, because I know season 3 you've rarely watched. Well, anyways, yeah. And the sister episode, A Snowman for All Seasons, which is
Chili, the Snowman and his dog Nippy start to melt.
Yeah, episode 10B of season 2.
This is also Chili and Nippy's second appearance. First time being in season 1's My Way or Snow Way.
Yeah, and this one they have to figure out a way to get them to not melt, and they figure out something's wrong with Polynimbus's snow machine. She thinks the salt shaker is shaking, but nothing's coming out. Oh, the funniest line is when Emmy says, "Maybe we could bang the top against something," and then Polly yells out, "Hey, be careful with my equipment." How do you find that part funny? Like when Polly yells out, "Hey, be careful with my equipment."
Yeah. I find Dragonberry Drought and A Snowman for All Seasons, I find most of the season 2 episodes to be good episodes.
Oh, good. At least season 2 is a very most watchable season of some kids, old and new. Because at least
we go into
episode 11A, season 2.
2 episodes that aired in September 2001.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Yes, we're still in the 2001, but I think the last few sets of episodes they aired in 2002. So we're getting into the first episode of September 2001, which is episode 11A of season 2, I Believe in Me, which Cassie's singing.
Cassie auditions for the school play, but she's afraid to go onto the stage.
Oh, you know how she like sings out while so in Dragonland one day, picking flowers all along the way.
Well,
I
that part kind of reminds me of one of the Looney Tunes shorts. He's like,
Does
"I
it?
was strolling through the park one day in the merry month of May. I was taking
Oh.
my supplies right before my eyes in the merry month of May."
Oh, that's so cool. See, I like Looney Tunes, kind of, yes. I don't despise Looney Tunes. Don't get me wrong. I like them still. They're cool cartoons. And of course, yes, Cassie was disappointed she was not picked, but at least she did not
And that
cry.
was my Elmer Fudd singing voice.
Well, yes, but of course, yes, Cassie was not picked to be in the thing, but well, actually, for some reason, she was picked to play because she needed to play the princess. And like the king was played by Lorca, and Flora was picked to be the queen. And for some reason, Cassie was picked. I think this is a much more improvement than Cassie Loves a Parade. Well, between the ones, which one do you like better? Cassie Loves a Parade or I Believe in Me?
I like both of them, actually.
Okay. I like I Believe in Me just a little bit better. Because I know, like, I just play some... Whenever I hear the characters singing in Dragon Tales, I play music from video games and other stuff. Well, anyways, yeah. Now, let's get on to the... I think we're going to probably... I mean, we could try to get through some of Season 2. I mean, it's almost 10:30 in my area.
Well, we can get to the... Actually, you know what?
Yeah? I'm listening.
We'll go into one more, and then we'll go into the remaining episodes of Season 2 and Season 3 tomorrow.
Okay, so let's just finish episode 11, then we'll do episode 12 of Season 2 afterwards.
Well, actually, you know what? We haven't talked about 11B, Bye Bye Baby Birdie.
Oh, yes, we gotta talk about that. Sorry. My bad. My apologies.
It says Emily befriends a baby bird. It's Emmy, not Emily.
Yeah, see, I made that actually before when we were talking about Copycat. I actually said Emily instead of Emmy, but it's called Emmy, not to be. And Emily's the engine in Thomas. This one,
Well,
Emmy. This links in
I like all of your ideas, MRKP 2003.
Yeah, and of course, yes, Emmy cannot take this baby bird named Cutie Pie home. That's like a different version of well, this one Emmy is serious to Max, but this one Emmy feels all depressed, saying she would feel sad if she wouldn't see her family, and Cutie Pie would be the same as her, and then they would just agree with their worried expressions. Mm-hmm. And then Cassie exclaims out excitement, "Hey, there it is! Very, very valley, straight ahead." And
next up, episode 12A, back to the fairy tales, or back to the storybook, whatever it pronounces.
Yes, this is the second time Cassie takes Finn to school with her. Well, this is the first time she does it with Kiki, but the second time with Finn, because this is Kiki's second appearance, and technically this is Finn's. Both their second appearance, but this is technically the second time Cassie brings Finn to school, but the first time she brings
Kiki.
Yes, and then like when she says, "Finn and Kiki, this is a school. You must be quiet." And I thought they were gonna cry, but I would have been so angry if they did. But luckily they didn't.
It says everyone uses their imagination to help fairy tale characters.
And like the one where they get to Jack all depressed, that's when Kiki and Finn make their worried faces. And I was like, oh my god, if they cry again, I would have turned off the episode in frustration. But I'm surprised they just made their worried faces, which I was pleased about. Because if they cried, double trouble.
Yeah.
But of course, yes, they had to finish the story before Kiki and Finn's nap came. Yeah. Okay, back to the storybook, or it's mistakenly called Back to the Fairy Tales. Good episode.
And also, I really like how they managed to get into the stories, and there's this little king with a pizza party at the very end.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Anyway,
and let's get to the
episode
last.
12B, Dragon Scouts.
Yes.
Emmy attends a Dragon Scout meeting.
See, I never did the Boy Scouts thing as a kid. Do yard work around someone's house, and I just didn't want to feel like a scaredy, shy kid. Like, that reminds me of preschool. I didn't even want to know these kids. Yes, it reminds me, I was a shy kid in preschool. Dragon Scouts. Like I know I was a shy kid as a 3-year-old, but then going into high school, I went into a super outgoing, mature teenager. Doesn't that remind you of when you were shy as well, Flick Love 2000? Dragon Scouts, the episode reminds you were kind of shy?
Well, there was...
Yeah, I'm listening.
Well, there was one time where I actually didn't want to go back to the preschool anymore because one of the students with Down syndrome didn't know that I had a disability as well.
Oh my God! Did that boy, or was it a boy or a student or a girl student?
It was a girl student,
and like she just didn't. She said
she couldn't speak, so she tried to get me to stand up, but I guess I fell down pretty hard when she couldn't do it.
Oh my God! See, I know some people are born in a wheelchair, even when they're 3 years old. Like, even when they reach the age of 3, they have to for some reason have to do a wheelchair. But I mean, were you? I don't know if I'm going to ask you this, but
it happened in like 2005. I was like 5 years old or something when that happened.
Oh, okay, so that's when you still were able to still walk on your legs. Well, because I can still walk on my.
I was 5 years old, but I was still in preschool by then because I was held back to preschool when I was 5.
Oh man! See, this is one of my friends. He was held back in kindergarten, but he was, for some reason, older than me. Well, I think he's the same age as me. He got held back to kindergarten for some reason. That's why me and him were the same school grade for some reason when we went from first grade up to our senior.
Of course, Dragon Scouts, I find a pretty good episode. And of course, at the very end, Max and Ord come to get some Dragonberry muffins.
But yes, and of course, like when this elderly dragon lady asked the Dragon Scouts...
Are Zach and Wheezy absent in that episode, or do they appear in it?
Completely gone. They are not in the episode. This is one of the season 2 episodes. They're not in the episode.
But I can imagine what it would be like if there was a sequel to the season 2 episode where this time it's Max going to a Dragon Scout meeting.
Well, that'd be kind of interesting, but I don't know how they could do this without Enrique, because Enrique and Zach and Wheezy would be doing
this time we could have Max and Enrique there. This time Zach and Wheezy will appear in the sequel with Ord and Cassie.
Well, true, yes. Well, of course, yes, Dragon Scouts, like, I don't know why Cassie's mom was calling her on the phone, but they could literally just have their dad situate out that problem, and Emmy wouldn't have to be so shy to the Dragon Girl Scouts at all. To the girls, like, be super shy to them.
And then, of course, I call Dragon Scouts a good episode.
Well, yeah, it is kind of good, yes, despite, it kind of reminds me of me being a shy kid in preschool, but going up to a super outgoing, mature teenager in high school. I still like that episode.
And here's some trivia for you. Yeah, remember that I told you the same actress who voiced Pinkie Pie in the My Little franchise, like about almost 10 years later the same actress who voiced Pinkie Pie in the My Little franchise, in the My Little Pony franchise, also did the voice of Emmy in Dragon Tales earlier. Before she started working in the My Little Pony franchise.
Okay, yes, you're talking about Andrea Lippman, who does the voice of Emmy.
And I noticed that in the first 2 seasons, especially in the first season, it was actually just Emmy's natural, it was actually Andrea Lippman's natural voice as a child or teenager. But then in season 3, Andrea Libman has already grown into an adult, and she had to make the voice a little bit higher.
Okay. That's what I noticed too. Well, of course, yes. When Max and Emmy go back home at the end of Dragon Scouts, Emmy says she's done pretending for the day. And
then Emmy decides to take a little nap at the very end of the episode.
And then Max walks quietly away not to wake her up. And of course that's the end.
I'm glad Max was able to do that, because think of what would happen if he poured water in Emmy's face. He's like,
God.
Max, I'm trying to sleep.
And what if Max said sorry? Oops, sorry, Emmy. I didn't know. Well, because I know Max did grow a little bit more mature in season 2. Well, kind of, yes. But of course, he did get a little bit mopey or mad or just a tiny bit. And of course, yep.
Yeah, there were a couple of episodes of Thomas and Friends where Edward was a little out of character.
Well, I know in Escape from season 3, well, I know since we're done talking about the overview of doing the A portion of season 2 of Dragon Tales, but we did the B portion of season 1. I guess we could talk about a few more things, and I think we'll stop around 20 till 11 or maybe around 10:35. I don't know.
We'll stop at around 8:45 in my area.
Okay. Well, I mean, we could just talk about other things since we did finish the B portion of Dragon Tales. The B portion of Dragon Tales season 1, and the A portion of Dragon Tales season 2.
Now, out of all the episodes of Dragon Tales that you don't like, which one is the top worst episode of Dragon Tales that you've ever seen?
Out of the ones we talked about today?
Out of all the Dragon Tales episodes you didn't like, which one makes it into the #1 worst episode category?
I'll just do it from worst to best. In my list, at number 4, Bully for You. Number 3, No Hitter. Number 2, Big Funky Cloud. And number 1, My Emmy or Bust.
Why? So what is similar about the plots of No Hitter compared to Bully for You in terms of the bad plots in between them? Let's talk about what happens in No Hitter compared to Bully for You.
Of course, Max and Emmy are going to Dragonland to play a game of Dragon Ball. And of course, Max and Emmy fight, saying who wants to pitch, and Emmy says, mind if I do it? You don't mind, don't you?
Sure.
Give me the ball, Emmy.
Nuh-uh! You're playing out there with Ord!
But you said I could before we left home!
Did not!
It's not fair!
Ow! Max hit me!
Why did you hit your sister, Max? She said I could pitch!
I never said that!
Yes, you did! I asked you before we left home, and you said, okay!
I said, okay, let's go! I didn't hear you ask to pitch.
All right, Niños. Go ahead and pitch, Emmy. Max, we need to talk. Yeah, and of course, that goes downhill, and then, of course, it tries to go back up Gordon's Hill, but it goes down again.
And then, what do you find bad about the second half of the episode, No Hitter?
Actually, before Max gets angry again, but he does use the words, but this time when he really gets angry, yes, he uses the fist on Ord. When he gets angry, saying, "That was my ball!"
And then,
oh, my tail!
and then Ord, to be honest, in my opinion, Ord was being a crybaby in that episode when Max kicked his tail.
God, yes. That's why I put it as the number 4 spot. Well, for the episodes we talked about today. Well, of course, yes. And of course, yes, Max kicked Ord's tail, and Ord cried extremely hard. Like a crybaby. Well, then Ketzel asks, "Are you all right, Ord?" I tried. Well, you know how it still goes with Ord explaining
I
out.
tried to let Max catch it, but he closed his eyes, and the ball bounced in front of him, and I wasn't even trying to get it. But it landed right in my arms, and then he kicked my tail.
All right, Max, that is the last straw. You're going to have to come out of the game for a while. Now what? Without Max, we won't have enough players to play the game.
Oh, we'll never win now.
Yes, that's why I think the number 4 spot, yes, goes to no hitter. Okay, now let's go to the rest.
Here's how I would describe it. Number 5, I would have. Number 5, I would have Much Ado About Noddlings.
Well, oh yeah, I forgot to include that episode. Sorry.
Or number 5, I would say A Smashing Success. Number 4, Big Funky Cloud. Number 3 is, of course, Bully for You. Number 2, No Hitter. And, of course, number 1, Out with the Garbage.
Yeah, well, for your list. And well, now let's get back to saying like how, yes, when Ketzel's at the timeout with Max and says, "You saw how Ord was sad when you kicked him really hard, Max." But I used the words.
Well, how would you like the dialogue for the sequel to the Dragon Tales episode Snow Dragons to be about? It's called Stuck in the Snow.
That'd be interesting. That'd be an interesting idea for an episode.
Wheezy, we get to go to the Snow Dragon.
Yeah, and of course, I'll tell you, yes, my top 4 worst episodes. Well, despite Much Ado About Noddlings, let's get to Bully for You. Sorry, let's get to Bully for You next. Where
Spike constantly bullies Cassie.
But I wish they could have done it better if Ketzel paired up Spike with Zach and Wheezy, and then Emmy could have done it with Cassie. What would Spike be make fun of Zach and Wheezy for?
Having 2 heads instead of 1.
God.
Hey, you know what you are with 2 heads? You're nothing but a weirdo.
What? That's not nice, Spike. Me and Wheezy were born this way. Yes. Yeah, that's what we were born in.
Spike! I would like to have a word with you.
Were you doing Ord's impression or Ketzel's?
That was Ord.
Okay. Well, I recognize the voice. And of course, yes.
And Ord, you need to lose some weight.
Spike, you can't cheat this strong dragon. It doesn't matter what much I weigh. I am the strongest dragon ever, and I have
maybe you might be strong on the inside, but maybe you're strong on the outside, but in the inside, you're nothing but weak and pathetic.
But that's not.
And then what if Spike was making fun of a human kid for the first time instead of a dragon?
Well, which kid would you do the most, Max or Emmy?
Max.
Ha! I can't do Spike's impression. I'm bad at his impressions.
You know what, Max? You need to grow up. Stop playing with baby toys.
What? That's not fair. I've been playing these toys since I was a baby.
And then Emmy is like, "Look what you've done to my little brother Max."
You hurt his feelings. And then Ketzel has had enough.
All right. All right, niños.
That is enough.
What is all the commotion?
Well, Zach says, "Well, First Spike made fun of me and Wheezy for the way we are with 2 heads.
And then he bullied me and told me I had to lose weight because I'm big.
And then he made fun of me for the way I play with my baby toys.
Spike, I'd like to have a severe scolding. You are not allowed to bully anyone in Dragonland in any way. If this happens again, I'm afraid I will have to expel you from the school in the sky for eternity.
Well, if Spike would try to not to talk back to Ketzel in a rude way, because you have to treat your teachers with respect. And then the final straw, he does make fun of Cassie.
It's like, quit shrinking, Cassie!
That's not nice. I don't like the way you say I get smaller. Spike, that is not nice to treat my friend Cassie like that.
And you have no right to make fun of me or my friend Ord, too. You know what? We are not friends with you anymore, Spike.
Yeah. Yeah, Spike could have just died forever if they could just improve this episode better.
And then,
Okay.
Yeah. What if there was like a sequel to the Baby Troubles episode where this time it's Ord trying to take care of a baby himself?
I think we already discussed that. Well, we've already talked about that before. So let's just talk about all the problems with the other episodes. Yes, Big Funky Cloud, it goes over and over again with Ord crying. And then, of course, the worst thing, My Emmy or Bust, Emmy not warning Max about the dragon scale, but she did it anyway. Yes, kind of like in Lost Treasure. When Thomas does not warn Ryan about the bad cold, but he did it anyway, and he still got in big trouble, even though he could have just said, or what if just Thomas did say, I'm sorry right at the start when he derailed the express coaches in Lost Treasure? Which also pissed me off. I don't know why Thomas could have just said, I'm sorry when he derailed the express coaches. He could have just gotten Rocky and cleaned up the mess. Or, of course, Thomas would still scold Thomas, saying, you have unfortunately caused confusion and delay, Thomas.
What if there was a sequel to the Lights, Camera, Dragons episode where this time it's
would it be Max?
It's Enrique making a video about dragons, and Emmy and Max are disappointed that they're not a part of the video.
Well, I'm sorry, Emmy and Max. This is a video.
I don't like it when I'm not part of the video. Don't you agree, Max?
I do, Emmy. And then they both.
Enrique, you made us really angry. We want to be a part of the video too. It's not just your show.
But I'm sorry, Emmy and Max. I don't know how to change it up. I don't know how to change it up. And I can't. And there's no way to go backwards and change it.
Well, you could refilm it again and include us.
Or I could try to and make you guys not feel so mad anymore. Yeah.
All right. We'll imagine one more thing.
Okay, and then when we reach 10:45, I'll leave. And I'll leave and then you'll end off the stream very quickly. Okay. Mind if I do something random impression? Imagine something? What if they imagine improving the episode. Yes, I imagine myself improving Bye Emmy or Bust. My #1 worst Dragon Tales episode ever. Where Emmy warns Max about the dragon scale. But then Max says, thanks, Emmy, for warning me. And then she says, you're welcome, Max.
What if there was an episode where Kiki and Finn both had to face the fear of the Forest of Darkness?
Oh God, way scary. And they both cry at the same time. And
Really?
Cassie was like,
Hey, don't cry. Remember when I used to be afraid of the Forest of Darkness? I cried just like you did. Because I couldn't get the star seed.
and you guys need to probably just, I can stand by you guys just like when Max held my hand. Max held my hand just to make me feel all better. Maybe if I held your guys' hands, or if we carried one of you guys individually, there's nothing to be scared of, you two. And who would hold Finn? Who would hold Kiki?
And then, yeah. And what if there was Max's take on the episode Emmy's Dream House this time? Where this time Max wants things the way he wants it to be, causing Enrique and Emmy and all the dragons to get really furious with him.
Well, which one would he piss off first? Ord or Zack and Wheezy?
Ord would actually burst into tears and turn invisible.
Like, what would Max ruin? Like, you know how we did a different version called...
Well,
of course, what if we did something quickly after this? A different version of a smashing success called Another Smashing Success where Max breaks something of Cassie's.
And then Ord gets framed for something that Cassie did.
Well, no. Oh, Max breaks something of Cassie's. What's the instrument that Cassie would play? Like in the original...
Why not have Cassie play the flute?
Okay, Max breaks... Oh, shoot, my apologies. Max breaks Cassie's flute. He goes, oh no! I broke Cassie's flute!
And then this time Max tells the truth right from the start.
Or, no. Like, we still did the same thing, but I think we should have tried it better when we did another stream. We should have made it the Cassie version. Max broke something of Cassie's, but who would Cassie frighten first when they didn't do it? It was Max. Would Cassie frame Ord first or Zack and Wheezy first?
Cassie would blame Zack and Wheezy first, and then Ord next.
Okay, well, first one, Cassie blames Zack and Wheezy first.
No, we didn't break the saxophone.
No, the flute. It's just for Cassie's version. I have to edit this out completely. So, you didn't take my flute, did you, Zack and Wheezy?
We didn't do it. Thanks a lot.
And
you framed me for something that Max actually did.
Huh? Well, I don't know where to find him. And then Max whispers, psst, Ord, over here. Huh? Oh, what is it, Max? I have to tell you something very big, Ord. What is it, little buddy? I broke Cassie's flute. You did? Well, you should tell the truth from the start. But I'm scared. What if Cassie doesn't want to be my... Oh, I can't play my flute in the show when it's broken like this. Psst, Cassie, over here. Huh? Oh, that's you, Max? No, it's me, Ord. What do you want to tell me, Ord? Well, I just wanted to tell you something. Hey, Cassie. What? That Zack and Wheezy didn't break your flute.
Well, then you must have done it, Ord.
What? No! I didn't do it. Thanks a lot, Max. Now Cassie will never speak to me again, and I didn't do anything.
And then let's imagine that Cassie framed Emmy for this when Max. And then Cassie frames one more character for doing something that Max actually did. Emmy, you were the one that broke the saxophone.
What? No! No, I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
Emmy, no, wait! I was the
well, first,
go, Cassie. Emmy is the one.
No. Before that happens, of course, like Emmy says, Ketzel, Max is in big trouble now. Don't tell. Well,
You got. Now I'm framed for something Max did.
I guess I'll tell the truth from the start. I broke your flute, Cassie. I was worried you were going to be mad at me, so I hid it. I tried to fix it, but that didn't work. So then I asked.
Did you hide it because you were afraid that I was going to be angry with you?
Yes, and I didn't. I was scared you were never going to be my friend anymore.
Well, I might be mad for that you didn't tell the truth immediately, but that doesn't change the fact that we're friends.
If you could have just told me, Max, I wouldn't have made Zach and Wheezy and Ord feel bad. Sorry,
What about your sister Emmy? You made her feel bad too.
Oh yeah, sorry, Emmy.
Next time, please don't blame me for something I didn't do. It was Max.
Well, of course, like Ord and Zach and Wheezy say, "That's okay. That's all right, Cassie." You sure you still want to be my friend, Cassie? Yes, Max. Come here.
Yeah.
Well, now what are we going to do about the show? We got to get the show started. I have an interesting idea, Niños. There. Now the flute is back to the way it was.
Oh,
okay.
What if there was an episode? What if there was an episode which was like where this time Zach and Wheezy changed their personalities, kind of like flip-flop, but this time it's for something different.
Different version of flip-flop from season 3 in my personal eyes.
This time it's Wheezy being mad at Zach for making loud noise, and Zach is the one making noise.
Well, he just laughs in the season 3 version of this episode flip-flop. It's like,
well, we could have Zach making a ruckus with sounds like pots and pans, like, Zachy, would you keep it down? I'm trying to sleep. I prefer peace and quiet.
But I thought you liked being loud, and now you're telling me that to be quiet? Usually I'm the one who likes to be quiet. Well,
but somebody must have flip-flopped their personalities.
Well, that's not true. I don't know how this happened. We were just our usual selves until something changed our personalities around. Well, okay, anyways, yeah, I think we're going to stop around here because it's getting close to 11 o'clock. All right, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and leave Flick Club 2000. Thanks for having me for part 2, doing portion B of season 1 of Dragon Tales, and the A portion of season 2.
Now, when we get into the season 3 part, we're not going to go over the repeats of the season 2 episodes that were in season 3. We're just going to look at the new season 3 episodes.
Yes, that's what we're going to do.
All right.
That's what we'll do. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and leave.
All right.
So, see ya.
All right. All right. See ya. Mm.